done a couple of videos and people have said that I should keep going, so here we are. I wanted to go into some of the things that come with ADHD and how they present themselves. I think that if my partner had been more aware of some of the traits that come with, she might not have resented me quite so much in the moment. ADHD can leave you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, sensitive to rejection or perceived rejection, addiction. That almost comes hand in hand with ADHD when you're seeking the dopamine, etc. And intrusive thoughts. Some people, you can't control what thoughts come into your brain, but they can be overwhelming. My story started at 6 when I got diagnosed, and I had to, my mum and that paid privately for my diagnosis back in the 90s. I then spent 10 years on medication, on Ritalin, Concerta, atomoxetine. I was then on sleeping tablets at the end of the day to put me down. And I stopped all the medication when I reached 16 because I wanted to join the army. The meds prevented me from being able to join for 2 years after I stopped taking them. By which point I was 18 years old and life had me by the balls, jobs, bills, etc. I didn't go back. But I wanted to go into what feeling overwhelmed looks like when you've got ADHD and what it feels like. And it can look like shouting and swearing or slamming a door. ADHD leaves you with very little time to process things that come into your brain and then out of your mouth, or the way that you react to a situation when you're overwhelmed. The fight or flight response kicks in, and it can be one or the other. The flight response can be falling to your knees, crying, and even wanting to die, because in the moment of feeling overwhelmed, you see no escape from the mental torture of the moment. Especially if you feel alone and unsupported in your relationship, or that you feel as though your partner's not understanding your pain in that moment. That only magnifies the issue, and then that ties into the rejection sensitivity, and then being back to being overwhelmed again, and it all adds up. The fight response, that's horrible for everybody that's around you within the family. The flight or fight kicks in when overwhelmed, but that's natural for everyone. But with ADHD, it leaves you getting to that point very quickly, and for a variety of different reasons. For me, getting overwhelmed can happen with a number of things, from needing to brush my teeth and having a shower. Just daily tasks that other people take for granted can leave you feeling massively overwhelmed, and to the point of just not being able to move or function. And then when you add in, 6 kids, trying to maintain employment, managing addictions, because even too much noise can be a trigger. And if you add in a difficult relationship, it all becomes too much. Even the feeling of not being good enough or normal can be overwhelming. If you put in so much effort and things and it's not noticed, or it gets you nowhere, that can be overwhelming as well. But I know everybody feels those things, feeling overwhelmed, with life. But the thing with ADHD is those feelings and emotions can take over us, and it can cripple us in that moment, and we can destroy our relationships, jobs, our lives. For me, over the years, I have reacted badly to things, shouted, sworn, thrown things, etc. I've put my hand through a few walls. In that moment of being so overwhelmed, you lash out, and then you're left with the guilt, which can then overwhelm you again, and you then cry. All the while, you're destroying the ones around you that you love. Day-to-day tasks can cripple me with my mental health. Just showering, brushing my teeth, actually eating. You can go days without eating. Tasks that other people take for granted, like holding down a job, can cripple me and overwhelm me and leave me feeling empty and hollow, like I'm just a failure as a human being. And these are all things that I've communicated with each of my partners and things over the years, but I don't know how to communicate with them so that they understand me in that moment. It's very easy for them when everything's calm and happy to go, oh, I understand. But the understanding is needed in the middle of the moment when we haven't got that ability to be able to pull ourselves out of it, and we're needing the people around us that care for us and love us and that we trust to offer that extra understanding. And you can feel these things, before you even look at dealing with life's more complex challenges. Over the years I've faced miscarriages, divorces, homelessness, addictions. I've been to court multiple times for access to my children, which I've still not even been able to see this year. When you add everything up, it's no wonder that I struggled. I mean, I know that other people struggle. People think of ADHD as somebody that can't sit still, and they're running off chasing squirrels, and they're fun, bubbly and bouncy. And yeah, we are when we're around people, because we put on that mask so that we can do that. But behind the scenes, it's debilitating, it's crippling. But the truth of it, it's very different. It's not just sitting still. There's so much more that goes with it that really massively affects our ability to function day to day. But what makes it worse is when you place your trust in someone and you open up to them about how you feel. When communication for you is already a very difficult thing, when you do communicate with someone and that falls on deaf ears, that massively adds to the issue. But you need the people around you to put the effort into understanding the ADHD condition and how it really impacts. Because without that understanding, everything spirals, and it spirals out of control, and everything just gets worse and worse with time. Over the next few videos, days, whatever, I'll share some utter horror stories of the things that I've done and how I have reacted to situations over the years, none of which can be excused, but they can be explained and understood. The problem with ADHD is that people think that you're capable and expect you to be able to handle situations in a productive or normal way. And in that moment, it's just simply not necessarily possible with ADHD. But because we're quite good at masking it, people expect normality from us. And that doesn't mean to say that we're always capable of giving that, especially in the moment of feeling overwhelmed. In that moment, we need our loved ones around us to ground us and to be there for us. But especially the person that we trust, when we are at our most vulnerable, we just need to be understood. Just need to be understood.